Hey, this is Joe again with another review. I think this video. Excuse me. This video, I'm going to be discussing. Again, that's it. I'm going to be discussing the end of a sports talk era, which is the end of Mike Francessa sports talk radio show. It's aired on WFAN here in New York for almost 30. Well, I have to say maybe like 28, 29 years. But Mike Francessa has been working on WFAN since almost it started. He used to be like a fill-in host, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Mike Francessa is ending his sports talk show tomorrow, which is December 15th. I'm doing this video the day before his final show. And thank God it's getting off the air. I mean, this guy is just a fat piece. Well, some way talking about a fat, because I'm fat myself. He is a fat piece of garbage who can't get off the air fast enough. I mean, he is the highest rated sports talk radio host and one that everybody talks about all the time. But, for him to say, and today's show and tomorrow, which is the last two shows, is going to be like a Mike Francessa thank you first here. But nobody's going to have the nerve to bring up all the crap over the years that he has gone dead wrong, which we're going to get into in a minute. But of course, Mike Francessa, of course, started WFAN around almost just about when WFAN first started, which was on July 1, 1987, and he's been like a spot fill-in host. The first time he actually filled in for somebody was actually on Thanksgiving, and then of course he became a weekend guy. Mostly doing like a football preview thing, which he's always been involved with because he's more of a football guy than a baseball guy, which is what I can't stand him on because I hate. As obviously you can tell, I'm more of a baseball fan. I'm a baseball fan, not a football fan. So any chance this guy had over the years on his radio show, talk about football 24/7. This drives me up the wall, because if he's talking about football, I don't listen. Not just to Francessa, to any sports talk show host, because it's football in your face. He goes, football Monday. Oh, it's football Monday on the fan. Football Tuesday on the fan. Football Wednesday on the fan. Football Thursday on the fan. Football Friday on the fan. Football, the NFL today, the NFL tomorrow, the NFL next week, the NFL next month, the NFL next year. I mean, it's constantly, NFL constantly on her show. And it drives me crazy. I mean, and I'm glad that he's getting the hell off. Because he, not only that, but he's also a big Yankee fan. So he's always, very rarely he talks about the Yankees of, he does constantly with the Yankees in the 90s constantly because they always won. From 96 on, they won just about almost every year. So, he constantly talks about that, constantly rubs it in to, Met fans, constantly talks down to everybody, which I can't stand. When somebody talks down to somebody like he did for 30 years, and if somebody doesn't like anything that he doesn't say or he disagrees with them, he cuts them off. And when his show, especially when it was with Mad Dog, Chris Russo, he every time when the show was simulcast on the Yankee Network, he'd go, cut the caller off, and they would act like he's still talking to the caller, even though he cut the caller off, which is like totally disrespectful because the callers, or the guys that people who call in, they're the lifeblood of any talk radio station, no matter which one it is, no matter what type of a show it is. And he cut everybody off, and he also used to make fun of Russo all the time because Russo was a long time partner who couldn't stand him for so long that Russo eventually left. That he used to pick on his former partner, radio partner, because he picked on a team that hasn't won the World Series for the whole entire time they were on teamed up together, and that's the San Francisco Giants. And of course, as soon as Russo left him, like 2 years later, the Giants finally won the World Series. They won 3 of them. In 2010, 2012, and 2014, finally won the World Series. And, and Francessa, he was so ticked off of Russo. So jealous, because he didn't want him, Francessa didn't want Russo to rag on him, like Francessa ragged on Russo, so he never kept him on. He never put Russo on for Russo to get even with Francessa, because of all the crap that Russo took when he was, for not having a team winning a championship. But that's the way Francessa is. He has a huge ego and has a huge personality. And he won't allow anybody to rag on him. But nobody is allowed to rag on Francessa or anything. Even though it gets flat out wrong. And of course, the most recent thing they got flat out wrong on was, of course, the big deal that the Yankees got Giancarlo Stanton from the Florida Marlins, which is a huge controversy on that. Because the owner of the Marlins is, of course, used to play for the Yankees, it was Derek Jeter. And of course, if he didn't want to help his old team, we're giving them trading Stanton to them, you're nuts. Okay, Jeter set the whole thing up so the Yankees can have an all-star at every single position on the field, giving all the best players to the Yankees so they can have a chance to win the World Series, which is the best player on the team, the all-star guy on that team, do the Yankees so that they get so he can have one of these, a ring on his finger. Of course, Francessa won't bring that up because it's Jeter, because it's Francessa's guy, so he's not going to bring that up. But Francessa got him wrong, so the Yankees are never going to get Stan. Long story short, well, the Yankees got Stan. So a guy calls up Monday show, this past Monday's show, or last Monday on the Mike Francessa show, and said, "Boy, I'm going to miss you 1 year, Mike, after 30 years for getting everything wrong for the last 30 years." And Francessa didn't even respond to that call, because the call was right. It said Francessa got it wrong, and he constantly got stuff wrong. And the thing that I think it was like one time when the Yankees were playing the Mets in the Interleague, there's no way the Mets are going to beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. I think the Mets actually swept them in one series, and of course he had to eat crow and sing the Meet the Mets song on the air, also on live TV on the Yes Network, had to sing the Mets song. Of course, one also most infamous moments, the reason why his show is no longer broadcast on cable TV is because of one incident where originally was on the Yes Network because he interviewed A-Rod. That's why when A-Rod was not only appealing his suspension for lying about his steroid use, but he went on Mike Francessa's show in the last minute and told Francessa they never took steroids, which in fact he was on steroids for a long, long time. And of course, because Francessa had the nerve to put A-Rod on a show, the Yes Network canceled Francessa's show. At least canceling the simulcast of it. WFAN didn't cancel the show on WFAN on the radio, but on the TV side, the show was canceled. So of course, the Yankees decided or the Yankee Network, the Yes Network, decided to broadcast the Michael Kay show. Of course, which is more appropriate because Michael Kay does work for the Yankees as a TV announcer. So Mike Francessa has a habit of drinking Diet Coke all the time on the air. And so what Michael Kay did was took a Diet Coke can and threw it in the garbage. Of course, Michael Kay has no class. Well, neither one of them had any class. And so of course, Francessa never really, he commented for like 2 seconds, but he didn't ever want to comment on it with Michael Kay, give Michael Kay more ratings. That's why he never really talked about bashing the other guy because it would give them ratings. Oh, this is what Michael Key says about Passion Francessa and all that stuff. That's how big of an ego Francessa has. I mean, he has a type of attitude that I didn't like, and also he also complained about science fiction movies, and particularly the Star Wars films, of course, which is appropriate because the new movie is coming out. So he says, "Oh, how come the first movie is named Episode 4? Explain it to me." So Coles would call up and explain to him why, and he says, "Oh, come on, that's a bunch of crap. Explain it better." And always was complaining about how Star Wars fans called out Francessa's show and tried to explain why the first Star Wars movie was named Episode 4 instead of Episode 1, which is, of course, because it was George Lucas's decision. He wanted the series, and he didn't want to start with Episodes 1, 2, and 3 because it was going to have a lot of political stuff in it. So he decided to start in the middle of this movie saga instead of in the beginning. That's the reason. Because Episodes 4, 5, and 6 were a lot simpler story-wise. The audience would buy, and the audience would understand a lot easier Episodes 4, 5, and 6 than putting in all the political stuff, which there was plenty of in Episodes 1, 2, and 3 in the series. So I figured it might be a little bit more fun to start the series in the middle instead of in the beginning. That's the reason, right, for that. But Francessa always talks about movies sometimes, especially when the Oscars come out, or at least the Oscar nominations anyway. I talked to Jeffrey Lyons. He hasn't done so in a few years, but he was always talking about movies, talking about The Sopranos, because he's Italian. So he talking about The Sopranos. Oh, wow, great show that was. Well, I do remember when Carol O'Connor, the star Archie Bunker, died, of All in the Family died, and he spent a long time, a couple of hours, actually talking about about All in the Family, and nobody was allowed to bring up the spin-off Archie Bunker's Place to him, just the original All in the Family series, which is a joke. I mean, come on, it's still the same character for crying out loud. But he didn't care. He doesn't want to talk about the original series with Rob Reiner, and Sally Struthers, Gene Stapleton, and Carol O'Connor. Just that original series, not the one who's drawing the boar with a little kid. He didn't want to talk about that stuff. But I know I'm getting off on a tangent on that stuff. But Mike Francessa is just the way he treats people. And it also went. Going back to the Yes Network thing, when he was canceled, Fox Sports 1 decided to pick up his show and simulcast it. But the problem was, with that deal, unlike with the deal with the Yankees, the Yankee Network, was that most of the time, particularly when the baseball season ends to all winter to when spring training starts, the show is on practically all the time. Well, Fox Sports 1, they always used to cancel or preempt the Mike Francessa show for soccer. Oh, how dare and Francessa used to do that all the time. When he was with Mad Dog, and when the Mets used to be on WFAN on the radio broadcast, he used to complain all the time that, oh, how dare they cancel my show for an exhibition baseball game. When they had an exhibition schedule. Oh, well, he used to complain when the Mets used to have like a day game during the week, in like April, May, and June, before he went away for summer vacation. Then, how dare they interrupt my show for a stinking Met Arizona game or a Met Rocky game? How dare they do that? But since when the Yankees was on WFAN, the last few years, he didn't do that stuff. He never complained about that stuff. And the only time when they had a Yankee game on an exhibition game on the radio was on the weekends, when they didn't interrupt Francessa's show. So that's how much pull he had. Said, I don't want them to interrupt my show for a stupid exhibition game, unless if I'm on vacation. Then he didn't care. But that's how Francessa was, especially towards the Mets, especially towards the Met fans. And I'm just glad that he is now going to be off the air, and now. And the thing is that Phil Mushnick, who is the writer for the New York Post, is now going to have nothing to write about anymore. Because the two things he has to write about all the time was either Mike Francessa or WWF wrestlers dying. That's the only two things we've really been writing about for the last 20 years, really. Now, since Francesa is going to be off the air, I'd like to know what the hell he's going to write about now. But like I said, I'm glad that Francesa is going to be finally off the air, because at this point, I really can't stand him anymore. I was able to stand, couldn't stand him anymore since Russo left. At least Russo was, I always thought that Russo was better than he was, even though he has that annoying voice, like I do. But, so I could relate. At least, Russo, I thought that Russo should replace Francesa, or Sid Rosenberg. I think that because, Francesa had pull enough, so I don't want Sid Rosenberg replacing me. So it wouldn't be surprised if he had picked the three guys the three people who were replacing his show. I don't think that show is going to be on until like after New Year's. But at least I'm glad that I never called Mike Francesa's show. I never did, because I wasn't interested in staying on the phone for an hour. But one thing I am glad of, I'm glad that he's finally getting off the air. So that's my little review of the Mike Francessa show. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my videos not only on my YouTube channel, but at rallyc.com, that's all WDY, and that's C.com. There's the homepage of the Rally Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore, and please check out all of his content on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time. And get out, don't let the door hit you on the way out, Francesa.